but I'm Mike Wilbon. Tony and I have been doing this show for nearly 25 years, and every day we give it our best.
I'm Tony Kornheiser, except today, we're on ESPN too.
Oh, we're on the deuce? What? I mean, we're bumped by what? By who? What's more important than us?
I don't know. Well, apparently the company thinks whatever is on is more important than us.
Yeah, looks like
I don't know what's on. I don't think it's bedsheet golf today. I don't think so.
Wow.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Bills trade for the Bears' DJ Moore. Kyler Murray gets a baseball invite from the A's, and the Panthers ponder trading their star goalie. But we begin today with a surprising, maybe even shocking result from the NBA last night. Charlotte beat Boston in Boston, and did not just beat them, no. Charlotte beat Boston in Boston by 29 points. 29. This was the Hornets' sixth straight win by 15 or more, and their 16th win in their last 19 games. And then today came the report that Jason Tatum could make his debut tomorrow night, his seasonal debut versus Dallas. Wilbon, you had the Celtics, quote, winning big at home last night.
How'd that go?
Your words.
Yeah.
But in light of the Tatum news, you tell me where you want to start.
Charlotte. We got plenty of time to talk about Tatum, and we will because they are worthy, and Boston is a threat to win the whole thing. No, Tony. Charlotte, which has been entirely irrelevant, and you can see some of it coming this year. And there are people like our dear friend Charles Barkley who just declared, a couple of weeks ago, Charlotte's going to make the playoffs. I called Charles in live time. He was on commercial break, and I said, have you lost your mind, Charlotte? Charles goes, hey, boy, Charlotte's going to be good. And last night, I'm talking to our friend Neville Waters, who says, you watching Charlotte-Boston? I said, no. He said, turn it on. The Celtics are down 25 at home. Unbelievable. Yeah. Knipple isn't just my rookie of the year anymore. He's almost everybody's rookie of the year.
He's Neville's? Is he Neville's rookie of the year now?
I don't know.
Which would be great if he's
Brandon Miller, Tony.
Neville doesn't actually vote.
Tony, no, he doesn't vote, and I do. They're a threat. You could look, I know the vagaries of daily basketball in the NBA where you got 82 games. You always say no one game is that significant. And I overwhelmingly agree with you over the decades. But, Tone, this was a stunner.
So this is where I say on the show, slow down a second, Sparky. Slow down. We are both inclined to like Charlotte because, to be fair, Charlotte has been a lifeless franchise for the last 10 years. It's been an outpost. It has made Sacramento look important. But the question then becomes, how seriously do we take Charlotte right now today? And I would say not very seriously, and here's why. Today, they are 32-31, and to get to 32-31, they had to go 16-3.
Yeah.
They are in ninth place in the East today. So,
playing, yeah.
I don't want to get carried away. On the other hand, I think it's really good for the NBA that Charlotte has some life. The only thing we know about Charlotte, really, is that Michael Jordan sold them at some point, and then we lost track of Charlotte completely. LaMelo Ball is healthy. He's averaging 17 points and 9 assists a game. And last week, risking sacrilege, I said that Knipple could morph into Jerry West. I have a statistic that is a mind-blowing statistic. When Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball are on the floor with Knipple, Knipple shoots 58% from three.
Insane.
58%. And the last team in the NBA to win 6 in a row by 15 or more was the Golden State Warriors in 2018 when they won something called the NBA Championship. So I'm not going to get carried away, but all signs are good.
The 16-3, Tone. The 16-3 is not a tiny sample size. It's fun. And Jason Tatum will get to, because it looks like he's going to play as recently
we have talked about that. He's going to have enormous impact, but it's down the road.
Down the road. Mm-hmm. Let's move to football and baseball. The Oakland A's have invited soon-to-be former Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray to explore a return to baseball. Murray is 28 years old, and it's been more than 7 years since the A's picked him number 9 overall, first round, in the 2018 baseball draft. That was the year Murray hit .296 with 10 home runs, 47 ribbies in 51 games for Oklahoma. Tone, if you're Kyler Murray, would you seriously consider a return to baseball?
Okay, if I'm Kyler Murray, I would. And I would say it's because I was a first-round draft choice. But if he goes down that road, there are serious questions that have to be answered. Kyler Murray has now made $170 million in football.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need money. But if he wants money, he can go out right now, get a 3 or 4 year deal for another $100 million. If he is going to go to baseball, you have to be serious about it. I think you have to commit to it for at least 2 years.
Agreed.
He's going to be 29. If he commits for 2 years, then he's 31 if he wants to come back to football. And then maybe that economic window has closed for him. He's got to be absolutely serious about this. And the question that has to be answered if you're Kyler Murray is, can he hit Major League pitching?
That's it.
Mike, he's got months before football starts again. If I were Kyler Murray and I was serious, I would go to the A's training camp. I would go to a backfield. I would say, give me all your Major League pitchers and let me see if I can hit. Because if I can hit, I can play.
Yeah, go pay somebody to come and do that. A guy who, is a hopeful at some camp somewhere. Tony, first of all, it provides leverage for football. If you want to go get that contract quarterback and the team is real serious about bringing you in as quarterback, you just drove that up. No more NFL veteran minimum. We're not talking that anymore. So
that's right.
But here's the thing.
Right.
He was considered a 5-tool player at his height, when he's in college. So if we know 3 of those tools, he's got to still have, Tone. We know he can run. We know he can throw.
That's right.
And chances are pretty damn good he can still field. So the question, like you said, is for average and/or power, can he hit Major League pitching? And he's got to find that out, and the team has got to find that out if they're interested in him. Oakland's got to find that out.
I would love for him to be Bo Jackson. I think that's really special. There's another
How about
part
Ricky
to
Henderson?
this, Mike.
Doesn't he put you in that mindset, size and everything?
Yes, but if he leaves football now, some people will judge him as a failure. He may not want to carry that as a last impression. He may want to stay and try and get better. I don't know. But if it was me, I'd certainly try it.
Interesting.
We move to the NHL. The trade deadline is tomorrow at 3 p.m. The other day, we talked about the disappointing goaltending in last year's Stanley Cup finalists, Edmonton and Florida. We talked about Tristan Jarry and Sergei Bobrovsky being like sieves in the nets lately. But let's narrow this down. Bobrovsky has won 2 straight Stanley Cups. Right now, though, he's 55th out of 59 NHL goalies in save percentage. This is the worst year of his 16-year career. So, Wilbon, if you were a contender, would you trade for 37-year-old legend Sergei Bobrovsky?
Tony, as with anything, the answer to that lies largely with how much is it going to cost me. So, depending on what sort of draft compensation it's going to cost me, I think I would particularly, I'm going to bring up one team, which is used to having some really fine goaltending come spring, and that would be Vegas. That would be Las Vegas, the Knights. So they got 2 goaltenders, both of whom are out of the top 30, all right? They're a division-leading team. So they got aspirations now. And Bobrovsky is having a terrible regular season. Looks like the worst of his career. But he can turn it on, it seems, because he was not great the last couple of regular seasons. But he gets to, the time cherry blossoms are out in Washington, he can turn it on and be great again for a short period of time. So
it's a great playoff goalie.
Yes, if I'm a team like Vegas, I'd do it.
Okay, so my feeling is, would I trade for him? I would trade for him in a red-hot minute. What do I have to lose? He's going to be a free agent. If it doesn't work out, I've just rented him for a few weeks.
That too.
That's all. So then I'm going to do that. There's a statistic here. It is about goals above expected. It's probably like war in hockey, okay?
Gotta be.
So these are saves you make against things that look like certain goals. In the last 3 years in the playoffs, in the 65 games where he was the goaltender, his average in this thing, goals above expected, is higher than in the last 161 regular season games he's played. He's a great playoff goalie. And he can't see you because he has 2 Stanley Cup rings in his eyes.
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
So I would trade for him, and I would reason it this way. I think he's simply exhausted from the last few years. I'd
bored.
sit him, Mike, for the first 7 to 10 regular season games. I'd put him back in the last 10 regular season games, and then I would start selling tickets to the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Because I think he's a great playoff goalie. And you say Vegas, I would say Edmonton. Let's take a break. Still to come, the Bills are trading for Bears receiver DJ Moore, and what is the word for that?
And how best to describe Mike Brown's criticism of the way SGA is officiated? Really?
You know, he's got a 16-team no-trade clause. Half the league he refuses to go to.
But he can waive it.
Half the league.
He can waive it. I mean, Bradley Beal waived it, so Bobrovsky can waive it.
Time to show off our extraordinary vocabulary, and I'm in my doctor suit, Ken Samet. I'm in it. What's first?
The Bills' acquisition of wide receiver DJ Moore is blank.
My word is enhancing. We keep hearing about how the Buffalo Bills don't get to the Super Bowl, and everybody's fear that Josh Allen is never going to get to the Super Bowl, that the window has closed. This opens up the window. This enhances Josh Allen's chances to get to the Super Bowl. And here's why. Buffalo last year had no real wide receiver threat. 2 of their top 3 receivers were tight ends. DJ Moore is a professional wide receiver, Mike. As you know, he's had 4 years of over 1,000 yards. And he plays every day. I mean, he doesn't get hurt. And the cold weather in Buffalo is not going to bother him because he just spent the last 3 years in cold weather in Chicago. To me, this is a really big move for Buffalo. And I hope at the end of whatever you're going to say, address this, because this is the second person who has left the offense, wide receiver and center, and I'm worried this has a negative effect on Caleb Williams.
Tony, I'll get to
Bears.
that. My word is necessary for all the reasons that you stated. Josh Allen needs some help. He needs it now.
Yeah.
Not 3 years from now. No, you want to go get a veteran, not a draft pick, a veteran wide receiver, dependable. DJ Moore, the thing I worry about him leaving the Bears with, he's the toughest guy out there, all right? He's the toughest guy in the room. Now, it's a deep wide receiver room with Rome Odunze and Luther Burton Jr., and we got this kid that nobody talks about, Jadee Walker, which I said to you yesterday. He's going to have to slide up, and 2 tight ends who can catch it, Loveland, and Kmet. So I'm not worried about that part of it. We still need a center. But the draft pick the Bears get, the second-round draft pick, can be used to trade or draft. But going back to Buffalo, this is necessary because Josh Allen needs this threat. Yeah. And he's got to be thrilled today to get DJ Moore.
But what do you feel? You lost a good wide receiver and a great center, and you have a young quarterback.
Our
what does that mean?
room is fine. The center is problematic. This is problematic, although my friend Tommy Waddle, former Bear, says don't lose sleep just yet. They're going to be able to replace him. I'm worried about losing him.
What's next? What's next?
Mike Brown's criticism of the way SGA is officiated is blank.
My word is nonsense, and I like Mike Brown. Okay, Mike Brown is complaining that Gilgeous-Alexander gets all the calls. Nothing goes against him. Last night, he was upset because he thought that Gilgeous-Alexander had charged and he didn't get that call. I watched enough of that game, Mike, that I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. There were no calls last night. There were no calls. When people bring the ball up in the NBA, the guy dribbling the ball uses his offhand to push whoever is guarding him and uses the ball hand to elbow whoever is guarding him, and vice versa. Okay, the Knicks, for example. The Knicks have a player who you know well from Chicago. Would you like to say his name? Jalen Brunson?
Jalen Brunson, yes, sir.
He's a tank out there.
He is.
If you guard Jalen Brunson all game, you go home with welts. The only time a foul was called last night was after a ball was shot, and 99.99% of the time, it was a defensive foul call. Does Mike Brown, that's the NBA, does Mike Brown not see this every single night? Because his players do it too. So this is nonsense.
Tony, it's chickens coming home to roost. Because Jalen Brunson, who I love, yes, Chicago's own, no one is more physical, all right? Jalen Brunson is so smart and so savvy, and he figured out as a second-round draft pick how to formulate a game and use the skills he has plus new ones and toughness, which fit the Knicks more than they did in Dallas when he was there. Tony, it's his chickens coming home to roost. Mike Brown, you don't want to call attention to SGA doing this because that means officials will start watching your best players.
Yes.
That's what Jalen Brunson is. You don't want to call attention.
Your left-handed guard, who looks like he has 3 arms as he hits everybody on the court on his way to the basket.
Yes.
So, I mean, I feel exactly like you do. What is Mike Brown talking about?
It's like Mike, if I was a Knicks player, particularly Jalen Brunson, I would go to Mike today and say, Mike, come on. Let's not get into my secret sauce. Come on now.
Absolutely. Absolutely true. I'd love to talk, but nothing came up on the prompter, so somebody will get us out of the segment at some
You
point.
will.
Enough of Wilbon's drab vocab. Let's take one last break. Still to come, a truly happy time, people. Happy 33rd birthday, Kyle Schwarber. Your boy, Wilbon.
Schwarbs.
Since he signed with the Phillies in 2022, Schwarber has been one of the great power hitters in baseball. He has 187 home runs in 4 years in Philadelphia, including a National League leading 56 this past season. In those 4 years, Schwarber has 434 RBI, including a Major League leading 132 this past season. Phillies have made the playoffs in all of those 4 years, and Schwarber has 14 home runs in 38 playoff games for the Phillies. For a while, Schwarber and Shohei Ohtani looked like the greatest leadoff power hitters ever, but this past season, Schwarber usually batted second after Trey Turner and before Bryce Harper.
Tony, he can wear whatever uniform he wants for the rest of time. He's a Cub. He's on the magical 2016 team that won the World Series. Kyle Schwarber came back from a horrific knee injury to do so. My former neighbor in Chicago, he's a Cub.
Yeah, I wanted him to be a Nat, and he was for a while. He had a great June, and then he got hurt, and then he left, and it hurt the Nats a lot. Happy anniversary, North Carolina. On this day 4 years ago, the Tar Heels, coached by Hubert Davis, spoiled the retiring Mike Krzyzewski's final game at Cameron Indoor by beating Duke 94-81 in another episode of the greatest rivalry in college basketball. Making matters worse for Duke, the Heels beat the Blue Devils in the Final Four a few weeks later in Krzyzewski's final game ever coaching Duke. Then they lost to Kansas in the championship game. Krzyzewski finished up 50-50 against North Carolina, but he has 5 national championships, 3 Olympic gold medals, and 1,202 wins at Duke and Army, the most wins ever for a men's college coach. Wilbon, you're going to Carolina Duke on Saturday, aren't you?
Tony, I'm going to that game. I'm excited already. The last time I was here was like 10 years ago. Remember the game Jim Boeheim came twirling out of his jacket? I think he got thrown out of that. At least he got teed up. So I cannot wait for this game. The question is Carolina going to have enough firepower to get within 15 of the nuclear Dukies?
You'd never, ever give 15 in this rivalry.
No, you don't.
You never do that. Happy trails to another ball off the bat of Vance Honeycutt. The Orioles prospect hit his 4th home run in 4 spring training at-bats yesterday. That's right. He has homered in every one of his at-bats so far, earning him the nickname Home Run Honeycutt. The 22-year-old was Baltimore's first-round pick 2 years ago, but he has struggled in the minors, hitting just 171 in high A last season, just 5 home runs in 101 games. In fact, Honeycutt is not even in big league camp. He's come over from the minor league side on occasion to serve as an extra player for the big boy team, like being a two-way contract in the G League. He credits his sudden success to tweaking his swing in the offseason.
Well, he should have tweaked earlier, it seems. When you heard the name Honeycutt, we're of a certain age. I know what you had to think. Is this kid related to Rick Honeycutt? Apparently not.
Rick Honeycutt.
From all the research,
He's not.
We don't think he is. Can't find any
4 home runs in 4 at-bats?
Yeah, but he's still wearing number like 89. It shows he's so far out of their thoughts and consciousness. 89? Man, it's not Dennis Rodman.
Let's go to the big finish if we could. Longtime Pirate Andrew McCutchen reportedly signing a minor league deal with the Rangers. Is that significant?
I don't know about significant. He's a former MVP, yes, but that's like 13 years ago. and he's 39. Good luck, though. The U.S. women's soccer team beat Canada 1-0 in the She Believes Cup. Is that result a big deal?
I think aren't we the best in soccer? But we have now beaten hockey games and a soccer game. Mist beat Phantom for the unrivaled title. Are you surprised by that?
I'm not gonna. I don't do sort of off-season sports in any sport. I'm waiting for the real season that comes along, but I have no idea. Sabres at Penguins tonight. Who you got?
All right, so Buffalo's in upstate New York. I went to college in upstate New York. They haven't been in the playoffs in 14 years. It's the longest drought ever in the NHL. It's good that they're good now. I'm going to sentimentally root for them.
Okay.
Last one, Lakers, Nuggets, Pistons, Spurs tonight. Which is more intriguing?
It's not close. Of course, it's Pistons, Spurs. That is a potential NBA championship series matchup. You know what's significant? Your boy, Trae Young, back in a uniform tonight for the Wizards.
Wizards debut. What's the over-under on how many games until he says, I'm done here? We're out of time. Try and do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow. Knuckleheads. And now here's the PTI.